Hi everyone, welcome back to Abba and Abba. I'm so glad you're back with me. I am Minaji, and so today we're going to discuss how I got started in textile surface design. But before I do, I want to correct an error that I made last time, and that was that I would upload 2 videos in a week. And I'm really learning how to be in this space, so I feel like I need to just not be so zealous with that and say I will upload consistently at least once a month, and then as I grow and the Lord helps me, I will try my best to be more consistent weekly or bi-weekly. But thank you. So how did I get started in textile surface design? First of all, what is textile surface design? It's when you have patterns on a surface or fabric. And it could be a fabric that is for home use, like a deck pillow. It could be fabric like my Abba and Abba scarf. Did I just say Abba and Abba? Abba and Abba scarf. Or my shirt. It could be wallpaper. It's any surface that you want to put a print on, a design on, pattern on. That's textile surface design. So when I was 15, like I said, I came to the States and I was in high school, and I had this family friend who came to visit, and she's an older lady, and she said, Minaji, I'm always seeing you scribbling. Every single time I come, you're always scribbling on paper. And she was like, you need to find a job that can pay you to do this. And I said, well, okay, that's brilliant. So I had heard about FIT, which is Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. And at that time, we lived in Jersey, so it's only an hour away. And so fast forward, I loved everything that I saw on the website concerning textile surface design. I felt like that was my fit. And so I go to the open house with my sister, one of my sisters. And that day, just like carefree, just looking around, excited that you're on this campus. And I didn't know that that would be the day that I would get accepted, because while we were there, and the professors were just, discussing and telling us more about the course, one of them said, hey, you're only like a handful, because there were only like 5 of us there and with our parent or, guardian. And so she's like, why don't we just have a drawing test, and then you don't have to bring in any, because before that I had seen on the website that you had to submit like 12 different, portfolio items. Like your portfolio should have at least 12 different ways, mediums that you show that you're artistic. And so I knew already, I was like, I don't know what what I was gonna do with that. But that day she was just like, just do that one drawing, which is gonna have a plant in front of you, just draw it, and that's it. And then you just have to, fill out the application and all of that. So I was very nervous, but a dad was there with his daughter, and I was like, yes, this is brilliant, let's do it. So we did it, and that was it. I didn't have to, I bypassed all the other students, except for the 5 of us, right, who needed a mighty portfolio to get in. So that was God, because God was just like, this girl does not have time for 12 things. So I got into FIT. I loved everything about the course. And I have to say, one thing that I really, really loved was that prior to that, there was a time before getting into FIT where I felt like I love music so much. And when I say music, my heart has always been worship. So I love just singing and dancing and praising God. I don't care if it's like rap or it's like soft melody, contemporary. I just love music that worships and praises God. So I found that when I got to FIT for the first time, I saw myself working and still having music. Like for the first time, I saw the mix of music and art, and I really loved it, because I would just have my headphones on and I would just be, listening to music while painting. And I loved that whole season. It was very much just a beautiful time. So fast forward, I graduate and I get a job in New York. And then I transition into what's called a bedding designer. And a bedding designer is someone who designs duvets, comforters, quilts, bed skirts, anything that goes on a bed, shams, euros, deck pillows. That's what we do. But I discovered when I was in school, we would do, we would color, we would paint. But then when I got to the job, they didn't need me to color and paint every time. What they would do is that they would have these companies whose sole purpose was to have textile or surface designers that would spend their entire day just coloring and coming up with artwork. And then they would come to companies like us who make beddings, and then they would sell. Our art director would choose the artworks that are needful for this bedding, for that company, and this one. And then they would say, okay, we want to buy this, we want to buy that. And then I would take the artwork that someone else has done, and then I would play it out and put it on the bed, put it on the deck pillow. Like I'll take probably this and I'll make that a, like a embroidery deck pillow or something, so you make it yours, right? But it goes on the bed. So I did that for 2 years, and I realized that I like it, but I don't really like it. And so I took a break. I went to Nigeria, and I spent about 10 months in Nigeria. And in that time was when I found my husband. Should I say found him? Anyways, it was when I met my husband. And so, but I'll talk about marriage later. So I came back to the States, and this was 2009 when I returned. So recession, there was this whole thing. But all I did was I emailed my director, and I said, hey, I'm coming back to the US. Maybe we should meet. And he was like, do you want your job back? And I was like, oh, okay, yes. And so I came back to the States, and I had this job already waiting for me. And that was God, because again, I wasn't planning that. And I didn't even want to go back there, but I just was like, well, I don't have a job right now, so I might as well just take it. So I did. And so I worked with them for a couple of years, probably 4 years, 3 years. And so, but my main point in saying that was just to say how God really knows how to weave your story in a way that you don't even calculate sometimes. And I know me, I like to always plan ahead, but God always goes before us, and he's like, I'm the best planner. And so from the beginning, when I was like, I don't know, I just like to doodle and scribble, and I find, oh yeah, FIT. And then it's like, okay, you don't have to do all these artworks, just do one, and then even when I got the job when I was in FIT, actually. I hadn't yet graduated, and they gave me the job. And why did they give me the job? Because I was interning, because everyone in their final year had to intern. And so I chose home, because you could divide yourself. You could say, okay, give me companies that are in apparel, which would be like this. And I was like, no, I like home. And so that's where I got the job, well, to intern first. And then I started working with them right after I finished. And so I just see God's hand, where I didn't really plan this. And even when I left and came back after recession, still a job was waiting for me. And I think that God would probably have us stop here. And the point of today is just to say, sometimes it's good to, not sometimes, a lot of times it's good to have a plan of what you really, really want to do and be focused and accomplish that, right? That's beautiful, setting goals. But I also feel like as a believer, there are moments in our journey where we just really have to trust that God is going to work this whole thing out. Because imagine if I didn't go to the open house and I was just already just like, there's no way I'm even going to go to FIT. They need 12 different mediums of artwork, and I don't even have one thing, and I don't know what to do. And all of that, right? I could give myself 1,000 excuses as to why I couldn't get into FIT. But all I did was just go for an open house. And so sometimes just doing that little thing that you don't even know is the opener of the door that you need for the next thing that God is calling you to. That's all he's asking. And you won't even know. Like when I did the drawing, I didn't know. I felt like, oh my goodness, horrible. But God took over, right? And that doesn't mean that you don't give your best. It just means that your best sometimes to you looks like foolishness. And in God's eye, he's like, yep, check. She did it, and let's move into the next thing. And so I just pray that as you've heard my story, very short, that God will also use this to maybe confirm something that he's asking you to do that doesn't feel like it's any big deal, like what I'm doing right now. It definitely feels like, okay, God, are you sure people need to hear this? But I really just know that obeying him is a lot better than, anything else. So I pray that you are encouraged to take a step of faith in the direction that he's calling you to, and that you would just trust him. You don't even trust yourself. Like, just trust him, and he will take you through this journey in Jesus' name. And so till next time, bye-bye. God bless you.